What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on the channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by two things. Since we don't do any sponsorships here on the channel, I'll show them out real quick. The first is my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name After Sound. And the second is a new podcast I just launched called Chasing Infinity. Links in the description below. Check them out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, we are in the final countdown here for the third phase of the Hall of Legends. You can see at the time of recording this, we have about 18 hours left. By the time you end up watching this, it'll probably be significantly less. Maybe you even miss it. But I wanted to do a little bit of a recap into where we're at, because this so far has been the weakest performing of the entire set. Now, we've only had 3 out of the 5 sets, but as you can see here, let's go over to the leaderboard, and you'll see that we are at 340 million. Now, or well, we can say like 341 million. We're just under that. So the thing is, before this started, I believe we were at 256, around that amount. So all in all, this phase only netted us about 84 million DEC locked up in the DAO, when we're going for an average, ideally, of 100 million. Now, obviously, that average has been carried by the first two, but at this point in time, I want to do a little bit of a recap and a review as to why these cards maybe didn't end up being as popular as I'm sure people were hoping. So, Riglanamon is cool. Just looking at the stats here, right? Riglanamon is cool. You got to add some value to one of the other cards that was already out. There's a really cool kind of synergy here with the Kindred Will and Ambush. I've seen the card around. I haven't used it myself in any battles, but all in all, it seems just very expensive, and I'm going to talk about that for both cards, right? 11 mana. I know you get a dual attack, but technically he's a giant, so he's susceptible to any kind of giant killers out there. And Ambush is cool, Stun is cool, but on the whole, I'm not, again, like, it's not a card that I would immediately go to. And having played a Ghost card tournament last week, it's not that I obviously had the option to use him, and I remember thinking about it. If we go back to the live stream, I think I looked at it, I was like, oh, that could be cool, but it's just so much mana. And that's actually the same argument that I would have with Rune Arcanist. Now, with Rune Arcanist, we did get another new ability, right? So there were a couple of new abilities with this batch 3, but, this ability Phase Ward here, which is similar to, I believe it's a Shield Ward for Mana Warden. Again, it's a fantastic ability. I like it. I think they did a great job of not putting it at the first level. Now, maybe that hurt sales, right? Because people are like, I'm not going to go and get it at level 4, I think is what it was. But either way, it's not the cost of the card itself from a dollar perspective. I think it's the cost of the card from a mana perspective, because one of the reasons I like Mana Warden is the fact that he's only 4 mana, and I can throw him into literally any battle, right, including Little League. Now, for 7 mana, you do get a card that can attack from the back line, which, Mana Warden unfortunately cannot unless the rule set dictates so. But, at the end of the day, like, it's a very specific card. It's a very niche card. And the mana is just significantly higher, in my opinion. So, that's kind of where my head is at on this. And the reason I want to do a little recap is because what are we going to expect here on out? I think we saw, at least with the first 2 sets of Legends, really phenomenal cards, almost like must-have cards in many ways. And I'm thinking back to Night Stalker, right? Obviously one of the cards that everybody was excited about. But we've seen a lot of these cards in play, and we've seen a lot of these cards in action. People like them, they use them. Again, it's anecdotal for me to talk about it, because obviously I don't have the cards. So it was just in passing with a Ghost card tournament. But, Riglanamon and Rune Arcanist, they just seem too expensive. Whereas you go back to Eleanor Bravefoot, which is a must-have 0 mana card, right? 0 mana neutral card. Everybody loves those. And then even Delia. I've seen Delia get a lot of love lately too, and I see her in a bunch of different battles, especially anything that's like range only. So, you had some powerhouse cards here. Sanctus Vicar was another one that had an ability at level 1, which, again, it doesn't matter what level the ability was. I know I talk about that all the time, but this is just a card that introduced something new, like actually brand new. Now, that's not to say that, the ability that Rune Arcanist brought in was not new. Obviously, it was based on something else, but it was new to the game and changes metas. But like I said, the mana was just too high for this card, as well as Riglanamon. That is my kind of, again, outsider because I don't have these cards and I don't play with them often, but having had the chance to play with them, I opted not to just because I thought the mana cost was too high. So I wonder what we'll see in the remaining 2 phases. Obviously, this is going to, or phase 3 is going to end in less than 24 hours. I don't know when we're going to see the phase 4 cards, but my guess is that hopefully the team looked at what happened this phase and tries to improve on it. That doesn't necessarily mean that the mana cost should come down, but they've got to be awesome, right? If you're going to play this card for 7 mana or for 11 mana, like it's got to be something where it's just like, yes, absolutely, this is a card I need to use. And I just didn't feel like that was the case, that the mana cost didn't justify it. So you can either power them up in the future or, reduce the cost, and we'll see what the mana cost is compared for those other ones. Because if anything, they've only gone up, right? So you can see here, we went from 0 to 9 to 11. Then we went from 6 to 4 to 7, right? So again, not perfect, but I'm just saying like these cards are getting more expensive from a mana perspective. I want to see some of these lower mana, lower cost cards that are able to be used in a variety of different things. So that's my little, just kind of review or overall thesis as to why this did not perform as well. Obviously, there's still 18 hours left. Maybe somebody comes in and buys 16 million TEC worth. I highly doubt that. We probably will get some last minute sales, but I think at this point, people are probably waiting for either phase 4 or Heloise, right? That's another one that people have been going after, or maybe just stacking for Conclave Arcana. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you agree with my assessment, or do you think these cards are awesome as is and people are absolutely missing out? Very curious to hear your take on this. Let me know in the comments below. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.